Good morning. We are doing the Bhagavad Gita. Now this is chapter 6 and we had done till verse 32 last time, and so we are continuing with verse 33 onwards. If you recollect, Krishna was talking about to see the self in everything, and he was also talking about how the yogi has to be in oneness with Krishna. So the way he described it was, to be ever lost in him, you have to focus the mind onto him and surrender at his feet. So basically, it means annihilation of your individual ego and focusing on the divine Lord. That is it. So now we are going to see what happens after that. We are doing Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, verse 33. Arjuna said, Krishna, owing to the restlessness of mind, I do not perceive the stability of this yoga in the form of equanimity, of which you have just spoken. This is a very common idea everybody has. What do they say? I cannot have equanimity of mind. I really find it very difficult to focus the mind on you. How do you expect me to not have this, the yo-yo going on in my mind? When I look at an object, I get attracted towards it. When I see somebody saying something which is terrible, I get very upset about it. If I have done some kind of a service, I expect returns from that person. Now, if I look at everything in this world, whether it is marriage, whether it is war, or even our daily living, it is all about give and take. And there are terrible amount of likes and dislikes in my world. So Arjuna is rightly putting the question in front of Krishna and saying, how do you expect me to have the equanimity of mind? Because I am very restless. My mind is totally in a state of flux constantly. Constantly my mind is going here and there, here and there, here and there. And my senses are literally crawling out of my body. I love good food. I love my wife and children. Arjuna is telling Krishna these things. I love my family. Am I not going to fight this war, or I'm going to do something about this war? I have to fight the family. I'm very much concerned with all these things. And when that is happening, my mind is totally not controllable. How do you expect me to have the stability of mind? Now we are talking about Arjuna, let us talk about you. The mind is so much in a whirl that for you to even concentrate for 1 minute on a subject is difficult. The body doesn't allow you to focus on a subject. This idea that I can actually be centered on something is very difficult. I'm sure you have seen a very old movie called Star Wars, the first one. In that, Luke Skywalker is supposed to put his charge, the depth charge, at the core of the Death Star. I know these are examples from the movies, but I think you will understand what I'm speaking. And he tries very hard with his plane to focus, get the needle straight and everything. And yet, he's not able to do it. Then he remembers his master, Master Yoda. And he then is able to close his eyes, bring the entire screen off. He removes the screen off, and then with the concentration of the mind, he is able to drop the charge. I don't know whether you actually noticed what the story was all about. Luke Skywalker is you. And when he says Master Yoda, it's a distortion of the word yoga. Have you noticed it? So it is yoga. Master the yoga. And let the force be with you. See? It is the Bhagavad Gita in action. There is the dark and the white side. The dark side and the white side, You know that. We also have these two. Everybody has. There is one dark side and then there is one light side. And we keep on swinging here and there. And just the way in which Arjuna has to fight his own relatives, he comes to know, Luke Skywalker comes to know, that the person who is wearing the black mask is his father. How strange, isn't it? So, if you see, there are these kind of movies which also tell you the story of the dark side and the light side and so on and so forth. Krishna is telling Arjuna the whole story about how to go about controlling the mind, which is what we had done till just now. And now Arjuna in turn says, I am sorry, sir. I am sorry, Krishna. I can't control my mind. You know how difficult it is. My mind is completely going here and there. And it is not able to. We were talking about young children in the morning who are going to school, the school going children. Now because of the pandemic, they are at home. So what is happening to them? Well, they have to sit in front of their computer screens and talk to their teachers or, do their assignments. They can't go out to play. They can't do anything which a young boy or a girl does. So what do? They are constantly on their devices. The phones, the iPads, different devices. They are on calls, they are talking to their friends, whoever they are. And on top of it, games. Lots and lots of games. Now you tell me, when you are playing some game, what happens to you? The concentration is on killing that enemy. But once the game is over, your mind is still going back to where it came from. It just keeps on going all over the place. And this is the state of Arjuna. Arjuna is not able to focus on anything. Now we have to sympathize with Arjuna, because imagine this man not only has gone to the jungle for 14 years I mean, lived off all those stuff in the jungles for 14 years of his life, but also has to contend with four brothers. You know, if you have to contend with one brother of yours, it's such a painful thing, you know. I'm sure you know. One sibling and you are in pain. And on top of it all, one wife to be, shared by five. Oh my God, that again is a big problem. And then there are children. And then there is the mothers and everybody around. And during the war, all these people came together. And then you have a blind man somewhere in the middle. This person is so adamant about the whole thing. And then you have great villains. We have to call them villains because what else can you do? Now imagine this is the situation. You don't have a kingdom, you don't have anything, and you have just got married to a new girl, by the way. You remember the last 1 year of his life, he meets this beautiful girl and he marries her. Wow. He was teaching her dance. So this is the funny part of his life. So now tell me, there's a new bride over there. So many brothers, nephews, nieces, this one, that one, grandchildren, God knows, and 14 years of pain in the jungles, eating all that jungle stuff, you know. Imagine, all right? No processed food. Everything is against him. And then you are telling him to focus on something. How does a person focus when there are so many distractions? Your life is exactly like this, isn't it? Whether you are working for a company or not working for a company, whether you have a family or you don't have a family, your mind is aflutter all the time. And this is your question too. How do I get it? How do I do this thing? So, verse 34 from the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6 says, for Krishna, the mind is very unsteady and turbulent. This is a mind which Arjuna is talking about, tenacious and powerful. Therefore, I consider it as difficult to control as the wind. This is the truth of life. The mind is so strong, absolutely stronger than you. Your mind is so strong that it doesn't allow you to do anything. You look at an object and you get disturbed by it. Now, disturbed is a positive word as well as a negative word, okay? How is it a positive word? A positive word could be that you see some object which you like and your eyes are drawn towards that object. And there are some things which you dislike. And when you dislike them, you are still going to have that anger and the upset, all these kind of things happening to you. Can you stop your mind from reacting? Not at all. The moment you see something, you hear something, your mind is already gone 1,000 miles. It is so difficult to rein it in. How do you rein it in? The disturbing scenario is there in everyday life. You go to the ATM and you want some money and because you require it desperately. And you put your card inside and imagine the machine swallows your card. Then what do you do? See, I'm sure you want to smash that machine and take the card out. But that doesn't happen. You know that very well. And your anger starts, you'll start boiling literally. And then you want to give a peace of mind to any person who comes in your way. I mean, it could be the guard who is sitting over there. But तुम्हारे company इतना बकवास है कि पूछो मत. But it is your bank, sir, and yet you are telling that fellow. Incidentally, the guard is not an employee of the bank. Okay, he is a contract worker, and yet you are looking at the guard and saying, "Your stupid machine is eaten away my card." I mean, just imagine this scenario. I just gave you an example of a bank. Forget the bank. You go to the airport and your flight is at 8 a.m. in the morning, for which you got up at 3 o'clock and 2 o'clock in the morning. You took a bath at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. in the morning, dressed up, and you came all the way 1 hour or 1.5 hour drive, and the Uber fellow was not turning up. I mean, imagine all these scenes are going on. The Uber fellow is not turning up, and finally he came and you had a big blast and you blasted his company up, and then finally when you reach the destination, they announce over there that your flight is delayed by at least 3 hours. You understand, your temperatures are soaring down. I mean, imagine your temperature actually should not soar, because at the airport terminal they are going to test your temperatures. Okay, and if it is 1 or 2 degrees above, they will say out. So let your temperatures not soar. So but your mind is completely ablaze. You want to catch hold of that person, the employee of that company, that aircraft company, whichever, and you want to blast that airline. What do you want to do? See? Now, this is a scenario. These are petty scenarios. Let us take slightly different scenario, because there are people in this world who are, sitting for examination. Somebody is in 10th standard, somebody is in 12th standard, and then suddenly, they are supposed to have examination in the month of March. And they are thinking, March, I will give the examination. By June, I will start my college. And there the government says, no examinations till the next year, September. Do you know? The parents and the children and everybody are so upset about it. It is terrible. Now let us take a brighter scenario. This person was fast asleep, and his neighbor comes in the middle of the night and starts ringing his doorbell. Ting, 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 ting. Why? Sir, you have won the Nobel Prize. I have won the Nobel Prize. You're coming and disturbing my sleep? You stupid fellow. But you have won the Nobel Prize. See, you have won the Nobel Prize. Come on, it's a time to celebrate. How can you have equanimity of mind at that point in time? Imagine, after so many years, you never thought winning Nobel Prize was a separate issue. You are not even thinking of that, and yet you got it. So this is another side. And you feel joyous. Can you control your joy? It is very difficult for people to control their joy or sadness, both. It is extremely tough for a human being to not get carried away by this kind of a situations. And this is what he says, the mind is constantly going here and there. He says the mind is unsteady and turbulent. Unsteady like nobody's business. I really don't know what I'm going to do. Can you control your emotions? Can you control that? All right, let us say control, 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 like Nana Patekar. Okay? And while you are doing that control by Nana Patekar kind of thing, Nana Patekar is an Indian hero, okay, from one of the films in which he is a very angry person and he is a don. And he is supposed to control his anger constantly because he wants to take his gun and shoot everybody down. And he has a brother who is uncontrollable, by the way. I don't know, he draws donkeys and all kinds of stuff, and he thinks that it is art. So, yeah, it's a good movie, some hilarious comedy. So, you are trying to control, and yet, yeah, you may say, in your heart, you may say, yes, I have control. Can you control your face? It is already showing literally. The kind of expression that are coming on your face, they are unimaginable. You can actually see your nose flaring up. I mean, I already have a big nose, but imagine somebody with a small nose and the nose is flaring up. Their eyebrows are knitting like this, like that. Eyes growing big, and it's a scene to watch. This is what happens to human beings. They all get upset. So this is why he says, I don't think I can control my mind. Mind is literally like it's trying to control me. Okay, I can't control the mind. And so he says it is turbulent, tenacious. Tenacious means as much as I am trying my level best. I'm sorry, I have to do a little acting over there. You're doing what is called as a deep breathing, trying to control, but it doesn't happen. The person in front of you already knows that you have lost it. Forget about the person in front. You yourself have come to know, I can't control anything. So, therefore, I consider it difficult to control as the wind. Naturally. This is the way in which the whole world thinks. You may say, that I'll take some pill and after that I will be controlled. What happens after the effect of the pill goes away? Then you are out of control. Nowadays they give all this kind of stuff, isn't it? When you have anger management, when you have all kinds of issues, you have to do that. Today's day and age, this is like a very common thing. You go meet your shrink. Okay, he's going to charge you a bomb for controlling your anger. Or whatever that is there. But do you ever go to a shrink and tell him, I want to control my joy? I mean, just imagine, you go to a shrink and you say, I'm a very happy person. I don't want to be happy. I just want to control my happiness. Does anybody do that? They will think you have lost it all. The first thing that shrink will say, you get admitted to the hospital and we'll try to make you normal. It doesn't work like that. It's all about anger management. It is not about happiness management. Anybody done a class on happiness management so that I can control my happiness? Nobody has done that. And this is where the whole thing is. Equanimity of mind means to have both these equalized, nothing to disturb you. No happiness, no expression also there, okay? Otherwise you can have a white grin like that. No grins also. So you just have to be Buddha, like Buddha state. So let us see now what Krishna tells Arjuna. So we are doing the Bhagavad Gita chapter 6 and the verse number 35. The lesson which is an extremely important lesson for all of us. Those who cannot control their mind. 100% of the population. I guess we have to all agree to that. So, Sri Bhagwan said, the mind is restless, no doubt, and difficult to curb. Arjuna, but it can be brought under control by repeated practice and by exercise of dispassion, O son of Kunti. He has given 2 tablets now. Okay? He has given you 2 tablets. Dr. Krishna has given you 2 tablets. Now he says, use this to control your mind. So Sri Bhagwan said, the mind is restless, no doubt. and difficult to curb. But it can be brought under control by repeated practice and by the exercise of dispassion, O son of Kunti. Now, repeated practice. What is the meaning of the word repeated practice? Though in my other satsangs I have already given an explanation for those who are joining in this satsang. I mean, you all are all new, by the way. Because not being able to control the mind means you are new. New year. So let us try to understand. All the new guys over here, listen to me. So the first word is called repeated practice. Now when we say repeated practice, it means the same thing has to be done over and over and over again. And don't say mistakes, okay? Otherwise you'll say, I have to do the mistakes over and over again. No, you are supposed to control your mind by repeated practices. Let us take a couple of examples for you to understand. The top of the line example is the practice of getting up early in the morning. I think it's a very common disease everybody has, isn't it? How to get up in the morning, early in the morning. And that too at a Brahma Muhurtam. Brahma Muhurtam is 3:30 to 4:30. How does a person get up at that hour? Repeated practice. You see, the word repeated practice means simply this. You have to keep on doing the same action over and over and over again and again and again and again. Now, in these two things are important. Number one thing is called time. Sticking to the time. Being absolutely disciplined about the time. And the second most important thing is not to give reasons for not doing something. So, if I take up the example of getting up in the morning, it is my duty to wake up at that precise moment. If you decide, now it can be anything. Though I have given you the idea that you have to get up at the Brahma Muhurtam, but let me do, concessions in this. Actually, you are not allowed concessions. Krishna has never said do concessions, okay? But considering that your mind is such a weakling, so I will say, let us say you want to wake up at 6 a.m. every day in the morning. Don't go by the book, and the Lord took rest on the seventh day. Otherwise, you have this great habit of telling, you can quote me scriptures, by the way. I told you, the first one was timing and the second one was giving reasons. This is called giving reasons. Jesus Christ also said, the seventh day the Lord rested. Wow, if Lord can rest, I can also rest. Oh, you are comparing yourself to the divine Lord. What? No seventh day rest. You decide, I am waking up at 6 a.m. It is your duty to wake up at 5:55 a.m. every single day in clockwork precision. Not a single day should go when you shouldn't do that. You cannot say, oh, today I was a little 10 minutes late. That is called giving reasons. If you have precisely decided that this is the time I have to wake up, you have to wake up. Don't put 20 alarms. And don't say, 5 minutes late, 5 minutes later, 5. That's what I said to you. Keeping the timing, number one. Second thing, don't give reasons. The reason that I will wake up after 5 minutes, just little 5 minutes rest, 5 minutes rest, 5 minutes rest. I mean, ask yourself this question. What great job that you are doing that you want that additional 5 minutes? In the examination also, if the bell rings, you have to hand over your paper, isn't it? When you go for any test, do you think they will allow you extra 5 minutes or 10 minutes? No. So then why are you giving yourself that leeway? So this is the thing that you got to know. Constant practice. If you have to get up at 6 a.m. in the morning, get up every single day at 5:55 a.m. in a clockwork precision. Then you can say, I am practicing. And this practice has to be constant. Nobody else should come and tell you, wake up, sir, wake up, sir, wake up, sir. What is this? So, did you get the first word when I was giving you this example? Practice happens by the great word discipline. If you do not have discipline in your life, nothing is going to happen. So the first example leads us to a very important word called discipline. The whole world is working on in a disciplined manner. The sun rises at a disciplined hour. It sets at a disciplined hour. The moon rises properly. All the elements are working in a disciplined manner, doesn't it? The whole world is working like that, except you. You love to give reasons. Every single day of your life, why do you have to give reasons? It is because mind is weak. Isn't this exercise for you to overcome your mind? If this exercise is given for you to overcome your mind, why are you giving reasons? How do you overcome your mind if you give reasons? How do you control the mind if you cannot even, keep to your timings? Even that 1 minute late is wrong. People do not understand the importance of time. The practice, the constant practice. In many of the films you have seen, or in real life also, the person is shot and the ambulance comes 1 minute late. The person is dead, isn't it? Do you not understand the importance of time? If you are late going to the airport, the flight will take off. Not the previous example. Otherwise, you will say, Guruji, you just now gave an example, 3 hour late flight. I am not talking about that. I am talking about your discipline. The idea that you have to do everything before that precise time. If you see me, I will be sitting over here even before the satsang has started. Do you know why? I have to set an example to others, and the others have to follow this example. If you think that I am going to be late, then you are going to take it for granted that Guruji is late, I am also late, doesn't matter. I can join Aramse. When Aramse means, it's okay, I can join later on. With me, if you can do this, forget about me. With you yourself, what you can do? You're cheating on your own self, isn't it? Your mind is literally cheating you every day. So getting up in time is important. Other example. I said I'll give you multiple examples. The practice, constant practice is important. Why? Let us say you are a person who is earning some amount of money, maybe by salary or interest or whatever. The money comes and the money goes. You have to give that expense for the whole month. You don't even know. Writing down your books, where you spend the money, writing it on a paper with a pen is very important. Don't tell me that anyway I get statements from the bank. That is not the answer. That is not the answer. The bank servers may crash, and when you desperately need it, you will not get your statement also. And why do you have to pay a big amount of money just to get your own statement? Your money is lying in the bank and you have to pay them money to get your statement. I mean, imagine that. How stupid is that? So writing down your daily books of accounts wherein you say, I gave so much money to the gardener, I gave so much money to the flower girl, I gave so much money to this one, I brought groceries of this much amount of money. How many expenses do you do in a day? 2 or 3? If you are just doing 2 or 3 expenses, then it is important that you write it down. Imagine 5 years later when the income tax department asks you, can you show us where all you spend the money? You should be able to exactly show them where it is. I have seen people whom I have trained in their life to write their accounts down on a daily basis. You know what they do? You remember the 2 things that I told you? One is to be in time. Second one, giving reasons. They will give me enough reasons. Oh, I didn't have the time. Oh, the whole month is gone. Do you remember on the 15th of September what expenses I have done? What are you talking about? Nobody has this idea. Now you may ask your friend or your buddy or whoever it is to spend for you. Let us say you are buying some item in, say, whatever the place that might be. It could be even Amazon. Okay? You tell the person, buy this in Amazon for me. And the goods are delivered to your house. Now it is not appearing in your books of accounts. Remember. Because that other person has bought for you. At the end of the month, when you are not even used to writing your books, you have completely forgotten that you owe money to somebody else. Isn't that true? And then the person gives a fantastic reason. Oh, it's only a small amount, I will give it to you right away. Right away? You have not overcome your mind. To overcome your mind, you have to be extremely disciplined. Even that amount which you owe to somebody else has to be written down. Precise amount, not a rounded amount. People have this habit, we'll just round it off. You buy an item for 8,600 and 8,000 change. People have this habit of talking, In India, we have a very strange way of talking. Oh, how much did this item cost? 8,000 change. Change? 600 rupees is just a change for you? People live on 600 rupees salary. Okay? That works out to 20 rupees a day. Their food will come. And you think 600 rupees is a petty amount? You have to write the precise amount over there. So to write the books, to balance them at the month end is so very important, and stop giving reasons for not doing it. This is called constant practice. This is a very important term. Now I am giving this term to you from the material worldly perspective. Remember, this lesson is for Arjuna. And you are that Arjuna who needs this understanding. Why is it so important to write the expenses? Let us say you are paying your maid servant a salary on the first of the month, your gardener on the first of the month. Just think about it. Your newspaper vendor on the first of the month. Okay? Your flower girl, the first of the month. Your staff, you're paying them on the first of the month. And first turns out to be a holiday. Second is a Saturday. Third is a Sunday. And then you say, I will pay them on Monday. You have delayed by 4 days nearly. Now what happens? According to you, nothing has happened. I just paid them that month's salary. Didn't I pay them? Well, you don't know your maid did not get paid on that particular Friday. Your gardener never got paid. Neither did your staff, nor did the flower girl, nor did that newspaper vendor. Do you understand what exactly has transpired over here? You have accumulated karma, not of one person, but of more than 1 million people, and you really don't have any clue how it happens. Let us take the flower girl's case. You have not paid the flower girl in time. The flower girl in turn buys the flowers from the wholesale vendor. She goes to the market every day by auto rickshaw, a three-wheeler, and she goes to the market, buys those flowers and comes and makes all those small stuff, whatever the flower things that are there, garlands and all that. Now she has not got the money on Friday. Now she's going to get on Monday evening. She's going to give that person only on Tuesday. Now this auto fellow who keeps on delivering every day, she tells him, I will give it to you on Monday. Even that wholesale dealer, she says Monday or Tuesday. This auto rickshaw fellow is having 2-3 children. Is he supposed to tell the school, I will pay on the 5th? Is he supposed to say like that? He also has some expenses. He has to pay to the person from whom he buys grains. Now let us go to the wholesaler. The wholesaler has stopped the payments of the villagers from where he buys the flowers. If he has stopped the villagers' payment, the villager in turn has not got food. Because he was hoping that this man will pay me on the 1st. The food doesn't come on his table. The poor villager, the farmer, is having that kind of a requirement. Now you, who has delayed the payment by 4 days, is responsible for it. Everybody's karma is on your head, just not that one person, just not that flower girl, the auto rickshaw fellow, the wholesaler, the farmer. Similarly, you take the newspaper vendor. Similarly, you take the person whom you give salary to, your own maid servant or whoever it might be. You have the karma of so many people. And because of the cascading effect of the karma of all these people, you owe it to all of them. If your company doesn't pay you salary 1 day late, suppose it pays you 1 day late or 2 days late, are you not going to get in trouble? Because you have your EMIs. You have to pay your daughter's education or your son's education. You have to pay for the tuitions. You have to pay the rents. You have to pay for whatever other things in this life because you got late. If the company didn't pay you in time and you got your money late, now you in turn has not paid this person. Now let us go back to where we started. The factor called time. Do you understand? If you do not do your things in time, you are incurring massive amount of karma. And you got to be very, very careful. Can you even delay by 1 second? If the arrow is coming towards you, can you delay it by 1 second? You cannot. Nobody can. And that is the reason why disciplined approach is the most important thing in this world. Not one kind of not even a single reason should be given for not doing certain things. Just not getting up in time. Now this other thing that I told you, payment, writing your books. Do you understand how much is the cascading effect? So I have given you at least 3 examples over here to grasp the meaning of the word. Constant practice. Now we will take some more examples. You are training for your competitive examinations. You know, competitive examinations are there. Young students are there who are actually trying to write a lot of competitive examination. How much of effort is required to crack that? A lot of effort goes in to write those examinations. You have to finish in time. You have to read the entire thing properly. By mistake, if you do not read the question properly, then what happens? You have been solving and solving and solving and solving all the papers at home and in your class, in your training institute. And at that one precise minute, because of the disturbance in the mind, you do not read the question carefully. What happens? The question says, you can answer 2 out of 3. And you miss that out. It's just a simple line over there. There is a problem which you cannot actually fathom. So for a competitive examination, it requires skill sets, tremendous amount of skill sets and tremendous amount of concentration. You should be precise in your timings. If you are not, then you can never crack the code. So practicing for that is important. Same goes for athletes. Those who are practicing athletics or lawn tennis or table tennis or cricket, football, whatever it might be. Are you not supposed to practice every single day without any break? You have to keep on practicing. There are no Sundays, there are no Saturdays, there are no public holidays for you. You have to keep on practicing. I told you right in the beginning, do not give that example that I have to take rest. Why does your body require rest, by the way? Are you such a heavy worker like I work so hard? What hard work you do? Count yourself. Count the number of hours you are putting in. You know, it's a very strange phenomena. 37.5% of our life. Do you understand? If you live for 100 years, 37.5 years of your life, you are sleeping. How many years? If you live for 100 years, 37.5 years, you are actually sleeping. You will ask me, how? Well, in 24 hours, don't you sleep for 9 hours nearly? Huh? Oh, I sleep for only 6 hours. Afternoon, rest of the day, Saturdays, Sundays, all the holidays, count that entire thing. You will actually come at this figure. So now think about it. How many years do you actually live awake? So this is a joke, isn't it? In 100 years, you're just literally, keeping your eyes open like this for, say, 62 years, let us say. I'm just rounding off the figure. And in that 62 years, every day, if you sit with your brush for 15 minutes, you keep your brush in hand with the paste on it, like this. Or imagine in a day, you go to the toilet and you spend half an hour. In the whole day, you spend 30 minutes. You know how much time you're spending actually? I want you to think very carefully. 30 minutes of 24 hours. That is accountable for more than 2% of your life. That means 2 years of your life, nearly 2 years of your life, you are sitting on your potty. You have so much time in this world so that you can sit on the potty for 2 years? You should be ashamed of yourself. Coming to a particular place in time, people say we work really very hard. And you ask them the question, oh, you really work very hard. How many hours of work, actual work do you do? Physical work do you do? I do 8 hours. Oh, really? 8 hours. Which means in a week you are working for 5 days in a week, Saturday, Sunday, holiday. So 40 hours in a week. 40 hours in a week, correct? Right? So you have 52 weeks in a year. If you look at it, in 1 week, you are actually working. In 7 days, you are working for just 1.5 days. 8 hours, 1.5 days. In the whole year, how much do you actually work? Isn't it very surprising? Wow! 78? Huh? Is that all? So this is the strangest part of your life. You don't even care how much you work. You want to sleep. You want to waste your time on the toilet. You think that life is okay, cool. I can go out for a walk. And this is where a man actually loses everything because he doesn't value himself at all. If you value yourself, you're not going to spend half an hour on the toilet seat. You're not going to be sleeping for 9 hours in a day. You will try to avoid as much sleep as possible. You will say, okay, can I cut down 1 hour in a day? If you cut down 1 hour in a day, you save more than 1 day in your life, in the month, isn't it? I want you to think like that. So, in 2 years, you have saved how much? If you are saving 1 hour in a day, 365 hours in a year, right? 365 hours divided by 24. How much does that give you? Just by cutting down on 1 hour of your sleep, you have saved a whole lot of days in your life. And this is where man doesn't realize the amount of effort that he needs to put in. It is called constant practice. If you do not have this idea about practicing on a day-to-day basis, you will never win. Practice is so very important. Timing is important. Along with the timing, stop giving reasons. Don't give reasons. Oh, I was so tired, I had to go to sleep. What reason are you giving me? You're tired, so of course, when a person is tired, you go to sleep. I am not discounting that you should not sleep. Okay, I'm not saying these words. Sleep is important to you. Yes, important to everybody. But that doesn't mean lazing around. That doesn't mean 9 hours of sleep. That is not right. How many hours do you study? Study? Are you telling me study? I don't study. Study I did till I was in my college level. In college level, what did you study, sir? Nothing. I just did all those papers, 10-year paper, and I passed. That is exactly what you did. No studies. So constant practice means even till the last day of your death, you got to study. I can keep on going like this for the next 1 year also, because that is exactly how it is. No practice. But time is an essence. I have to move. So I will tell you, if you don't do constant practice on yourself, constantly, you cannot control your mind. And don't blame the mind for it, because mind needs control. Stop giving reasons. Keep to your timings. Become highly disciplined. That is the number one criteria Krishna has said. And the second one which he says is simply exercise of dispassion. Why is dispassion so very important? If you are going to be passionate about everything, people are passionate about some things. I want to see the races. They're passionate about racing. They're passionate about eating. They're passionate about, going to sleep. Yes, I have to sleep, I love sleeping. I can sleep anywhere on earth. I can just sit like this. I can be doing like this. So in my satsang also, I have idiots who sleep. What do I do? That's a very funny thing. And they are in spiritual, by the way. Can't keep your eyes open for 1 hour. That's a problem. Passion. It is because of that passion for sleep. You have to overcome that passion. I haven't finished the verse. I will continue next week. If you are really in for this kind of a trashing, then please join me next week also. Okay? The passion is a very important subject. I'm not going to stop it at that. We will continue this verse because first thing I have told you, very important, constant practice, every day practice. Not a single day should go by when you should not practice. You should practice every day. There are no two ways about it. You want to overcome the mind, you have to do practice. For spiritual people, the practice is yoga. So, we have come to the end of this hour. I'm going to stop over here. But if you are really very keen on overcoming your mind, you have to listen. And you have to stop giving those reasons. Don't give me reasons. Reasons should be avoided at all points in time. And disciplined approach towards everything is a must. This way, you will be able to overcome your mind. We will continue this verse in the coming week again. Because the next couple of verses are how to overcome the mind. Alright? So I'll take your leave. You have a great day and happy Navratri to all of you all. Bye. See you.